So let me get this straight. Their argumentation is meritocracy is bad because if you get a bad grade, it might not be because of you, it might be because of the system. So if you tell them the harsh reality, they will learn to blame the system instead of themselves. I don't know, if you're in school and you get an F, that's probably a good indicator that you should probably work a bit harder. And even if the system is at fault, what are you going to do? Sit down, smoke pot, and blame the system forever and never improve? That just doesn't make any sense in today's debate. So unless you can tell me what instilling hope through harsh reality is, it's kind of hard for us to understand what exactly it is you're doing, because we actually did kind of question you. What are you going to do? You're going to give them a grade, and even if someone gets 100 points, you give them 90 because that's not how life works, kid. I don't know what exactly you're doing, because literally saying, kid, life is tough. That's it. That's like a one-liner, so I don't really know what is it exactly that they're doing. And it's important to tell us what they're doing, right? Because depending on how they want to instill it, or how young the kid is, really changes the dynamics of this debate. Now, Nat mentioned, that's what we have to teach them since young age. I don't know how young that is. Think about this, picture this, okay? So we got like a black minority, or whatever, right, in the States, where blacks are being oppressed. Their stance is, let's teach them a harsh reality base so that, that little kid knows that he's in an inferior position in life. So he's got to work harder, or he's got to blame the system. How does teaching them harsh reality of life going to change anything? Their reaction is, well, it's going to make them more prepared. Dude, if you're a minority, you're being oppressed almost every day. You're getting that lesson through life, and not necessarily through school. By teaching them through school, it just sort of kills them off a little bit more. They die a little bit more inside when teachers confirm that they indeed are the inferior part of society. And that's pretty bad. I just don't see any goods coming from their side. Okay, so then, all right, so as promised, I'm going to tell you guys about the story of life, right? So, listen to this. When you guys are a child, right, responsibility change as you, actually, unlike you, I will take you right away.
So if there is a black kid who keep on blaming himself that he's stupid or not work hard enough instead of blaming the system, so you're saying that that's okay?
Yes, I'm saying that's better than blaming the system and doing nothing. Unless you can show me that it's better to, look, you're talking about kids here, right? It's not like he's like a freaking politician or something, right? He's a freaking 12-year-old kid. What do you want him to go on the street and riot? If there really is a problem with the system, under the status quo, there are already mechanisms like politicians, for instance, or older adults, or, people that can actually change the system. It doesn't necessarily have to come from the kid at the end of the day. It just doesn't make sense. Instead of making him go, the system is bad, so, I'm not going to work hard. This doesn't make any sense, right? What harsh reality hope through harsh reality? This doesn't make any sense to me. All right, so story of life. So when you're a kid, right, you start off with minimal responsibility. But believe it or not, in every stage of your life, you're going to think that you are at the hardest stage of your life. So for instance, when you're a kid, you would think that following parents is the worst thing that can ever happen. When you become a high school kid, you're going to think that IB exam is the worst, or A-level is the worst thing that can ever happen to you. When trying to find a job, you're going to have so much pressure. When you become an adult, the responsibility changes so that you're financially more responsible towards your spouse, or towards your partner, or towards your kid, right? And that becomes the greatest responsibility of life. The moral of the story is that when you're a child, okay, and your incentive to study is that you want to get good grades because good things can come to you, and also because your parents are forcing you. The moment you take that hope away, the kids go, so why am I studying? What's the point, right? Because the harsh reality is part of the society actually do require you to have a good grade, actually do require you to strive in the educational system, and actually do require you to have some sort of knowledge in the end of the day. The moment you try to blame the system, they don't have any incentive to study more further on, because there's nothing pushing them further. Now, is there a problem with the status quo? The answer is no. Look, if you take a look at the problems within the status quo, it's not because they haven't told the harsh reality back in school. It did not derive from there, right? Neither did anyone ever said, oh my God, I wish they told me this in school. Had they told me that in school, I would have been a better person today. That doesn't make sense, because whether or not they told you this in school, it's not like you're able to prepare for the system. You're able to prepare for the system through life experience, and that's why my argument is a story of life, right? When you actually get up and graduate from high school, going into college, you understand and you realize the harsh realities that maybe the gain towards passing is 90, but then they look at other factors in the end of the day as well. When you grow up out of college and you go for job application, you understand that even though your which is something that AJ came up and talked about. A minority, I'm gonna refrain from using black. So minority, for instance, right? They're able to cope with their own life experience through their own unique, unique experience at the end of the day, because they will encounter them. And when they encounter them, there will be more incentives for them to push them further. For instance, if I am an adult, right, and I understand that just because I'm successful, just because I am successful in the past, doesn't mean I'm going to be successful in the future. Even if I fail, I have responsibilities and financial incentives that would push me further and keep on going, even if I know that I'm going to fail. So for instance, if I have a family to feed, even if I should fail, I will continuously go on and work harder. When you're at the young age, when you take away that incentive, you have no other incentive for you to work hard, right? Because they're assuming these kids are safe. Like, yeah, Tommy, study hard. Mom, why am I doing this? Because you may or may not succeed. You know, it doesn't make sense because when you get older in life, there are other incentives to push you through. But at the younger age, there literally is nothing. And there literally is nothing that you can prepare. And that's why we keep hammering from that side. Like, what is it exactly you're going to do? Because there's nothing much you can prepare. The problem with preparing them so often is actually really, really bad. Because when you start teaching them the harsh reality of life, number one, the very argument in which they talk about, like minority groups, is going to be worse. Because they understand and they double confirm from the teacher